welcome to the craft room. I'm up an end you don't see a lot of. I tend to work up the other end on my standing desk. I'm down the end with my pegboard. Here next to me I have my fold out table, so under there is where I store my sewing machine, spinning wheel, cameras, all my big bulky stuff I don't use on the regular. It's all down here under a folding table, so that folds up to give me some more space. I have my Cricut here, all my day-to-day tools up on the pegboard. There's lots of holes though, so it would appear that I'm due for a cleanup. I am going to ignore that fact for now though. So I asked a friend who's been watching my videos basically every day, which is really cool. I asked her what she would like to see, and she said that she would love it if I did a video on some of my favorite craft tools, and I thought that could be fun. It's been a while since I've shared things like that. I did do a blog post in Blogtober, I think, about some of my tools, but I thought it could be fun to do a little whip around of what I'm loving and why. So obviously my Cricut here that I'm leaning on, it's one of my favorite tools. I use so much. I have the Maker, not, I think it, like, when I bought it, it was just called the Maker, but I'm pretty sure it's like the Maker 2. So it was superseded by the Maker 3, which I think has now been superseded again. I'm not in a hurry to upgrade. I'm happy with it. It does everything I need it to do, and I don't know that it's recommended, but I have been able to make it take smart vinyl, so it works. So yeah, so I use that a lot. That's kind of an easy one to do. So I'm actually not including it in my favorite tools roundup, but what I do have that makes my Cricut life so much easier is my iPad with my Apple Pencil. So this is a 9th gen iPad, just a plain boring one. I made this sleeve myself. How cute is this fabric? It is so cute. And denim on the other side with a little pouch for my pencil. My biggest problem with this is the kids keep pinching my pencil because they've got a 7th gen iPad, which is compatible with the same pencil, and I made the mistake of sharing with them the joy of Procreate, and so they like to steal my stuff. So I use this quite a bit in Procreate to create my own graphics and stuff to use on my Cricut. I use it for print and cut, I use it for decals, all that kind of stuff. So this is a really great way for me to maximize my Cricut and create custom items. I buy some, I do download some free if I can find them, but sometimes I just want something really specific, and this is what really gives me the flexibility to make the most of my Cricut. I love it. So 9th gen iPad, Apple Pencil, and Procreate. One of my favorite toys. So, and I do love it for digital art and stuff like that as well. That's probably the big ticket item on my favorite things list. When it comes to pens and journaling, I love these. So podcast partner Car got me onto these. They're just from Amazon, and they're just this really beautiful black ballpoint ink pen. I've even got the kids onto them now. They use the 0.7, I use the 0.5, and Miss 14 has even bought the rainbow version because she loves to color code her study notes. So they are my favorite black pen when I'm packing a travel kit. That's what I will pack first as my main pen. Not super waterproof, but if I leave it long enough to dry, I haven't had a lot of problems, as long as I'm not pushing it too hard. I will link all these in the comment too. Pens need somewhere to go. My current favorite journal is actually this one. I mean, for a start, look how cute it is. It's so little. It's only like 4 inches square. I'm using mine for 100 days. This little beauty was $4 at Kmart. And honestly, for a $4 Kmart journal, it totally punches above its weight. So yeah, so that's kind of like my go-to now. If I need a new journal, I'll run to Kmart when I'm at the big smoke and grab a couple of these. So I'm loving these. This is the sketch version, and I have done some kind of mixed media stuff. So I've done some collage and watercolor in there, if you can see. It's taken that really quite well. So I'm very, very impressed with it for $4. Can't argue with that. When I'm doing art, my favorite watercolor set is this one. I have had this one forever. I did an urban sketching class on Studio Calico. I'm pretty sure Car did it with me as well. The journal's up there somewhere, unfinished, but what lives on is this paint palette. So it's a great little travel one. That's a there's a water brush in there. You can see with the colors, they're very well loved and probably could do with a bit of a clean. But yeah, for a decade-old palette, that's still got so much life left in it. So it's my favorite. The colors are beautiful and pigmented. They're really delightful to use. They mix up beautifully. So that is the Sakura Koi watercolor pocket filled sketch box, and I always forget it is the 24 color version. I'm pretty sure the new 24 color version doesn't have this exact combo of colors in it, But yeah, it's great. And like, again, it packs down nice and small. So, you know, it fits well. So it's great for travel, which is, I guess, is the point of it, isn't it? While we're talking art, one of my new favorites is my tiny little jelly plate. It's a 3 by 5 inch jelly plate, and we can see with the colors there, it's become very well used. Even though it's small, I actually really love the small size for the kind of stuff that I do, and it feels like it's just handy to get little bite-sized pieces of printed papers and create interesting textures and stuff. And my main one is only like an A5, so it's not huge either. But for some reason, that size seems to be working really well. It's a good size to work, you know, directly in a journal. If I'm using a sheet of calligraphy paper, I can do multiple things. So that's my favorite. One of my favorite art supplies at the minute. My paper cutter, of course. I did have a big guillotine, and then I ended up switching over to just a paper cutter. I use this constantly. It actually does need another new blade again, and probably a good clean out. Opens up on this side, so that got that. It's really handy too, being in a small space, having a more compact cutter. For something that I put off getting for so long, it's been a game changer. It's been so useful. If I'd have had that back in my scrapbooking days, I probably would have been much more efficient and got a lot more done. Speaking of scrapbooking, this one is also a bit of a splurge, but my selfie printer, so this has a little tray of paper that just slots in the front there, so that drops down, paper goes in, and that does like proper photo prints. Look at the size of that. So helpful. I think I've actually taken this to quilt camp before, which is a great part of the size of it. It's just so nice and portable. It's great for travel and retreats and things like that. And it's also really handy. Again, I'm in a really small space. So you can see this width here. I have this width, and then I have that width again as my standing desk, and then just a small section here that holds my stuff. My camera, so obviously I take a lot of photos and share a lot. So I use the Nikon D850. I'm a little bit spoiled in that once upon a time I was a professional photographer, so I could justify a big expensive camera. That's got the 85mm lens on it at the minute. I normally switch between either the 85 1.4 or the 35 2.0. They're my two favorite lenses that I'm using a lot. What else do you guys want to see me talk about? What of my tools and equipment have you seen me use or mention previously that you would like a little bit more info on, and how I use it? I have, obviously, being a multi-directional maker, shall we say, I've got lots of little bits of different crafts and tools for different crafts out and, you know, reasonably accessible. Like, I've got my papers are just up here, but then straight on top of that is my knitting needles, and I mentioned in yesterday's video one of my favorite knitting needles. Plus there's journals up there, but then I've got my Cricut, and then I've got yarn just here. So I've got a bit of everything going on, but they're kind of some of my most used things at the minute. iPad for lots of customization, printer for memory keeping, pens, watercolor, art journals. So I hope you've enjoyed this little peek inside my craft room today. If there is something specific you would like to see, please do let me know. I would love to share more about what you're interested in as well. So I've still got another 20 odd days of VEDA to go, so I'm all ears if you've got something specific that you want to hear. I hope you've enjoyed this little peek inside my craft room, and I'll see you tomorrow for another video.